Let's fight. Let's fight, folks. Where are you guys picking us up from this evening? Big program ahead for you guys. You're in the right place. Share the live stream. Whether you're joining us currently or you come back and you watch us later on, share the live stream now. You are like too much freeness in this country. That's the problem with us. We like too much freeness. Let's fight, folks. Twitter, Twitterverse. A very good evening and welcome in the ring. Facebook, Facebook, welcome in the ring to you guys as well. YouTube, 300 subscribers, and we'll be just as happy when we touch 3,000 and 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. But we're growing from strength to strength, and we like that very much. Where are you guys picking us up from? How was your day, folks? You had a good day at work, at home? Hope nobody abused y'all or traffic y'all or anything like that. Welcome in the ring, folks. We got quite a bit of information to get through. We have some guests who are going to be joining us. And guys, it's Talk Back Thursday. It's Talk Back Thursday. And we're going to share the live stream a couple places as we are on tonight. And thanks for joining us. So bear with us as we share the live stream. Y'all like freeness. You got to share the live stream. We got to share the live stream, folks. Let me adjust volume on one of my devices and prepare to share the live stream as well. Good to see so many of you guys. Tag a friend of me. It's Earth Day. So I guess we got to be nice to folks. It's Earth Day. We got to be a bit nice, at least to the earth, folks. At least to the earth. So we're gonna share the live stream a couple places, and then we're gonna be good to go. All right. So work with us this evening. Work with us, folks. Work with us. Share the live stream. Welcome in the ring to each and every one of you. We're ready to go. We are ready to go, and ensuring that we are shared a couple places. All right. So guys, you share the live stream. Folks on Twitter, give us a retweet. Give us your comments on Twitter. Twitter folks don't like to comment a lot, but on YouTube, not so. On Facebook, not so. So guys, give us a share this evening. We are depending on you. And I keep telling you all got your role to play. We keep cultivating and putting together all of this information. I'm searching for the correct word in my mind. Curating all of this information for you. And you guys got your part to do is sharing the live stream so that other persons can benefit from what we're doing as well. You're all too stingy. Y'all got a cat boil over your eyes. That's what y'all want. Cat boil. Right? Catfish and cat boil. Share the live stream, folks. That's what you got to do. Share. Share the live stream. But nonetheless, welcome in the ring wherever you are picking us up from. Let me see some of the places. Oh boy, sorry about that. Wherever you're picking us up from. Apologies there. Wherever you are picking me up from tonight, we are more than grateful. Let me make sure that we are in all the right places. Good to see each and every one of you guys. Good to see each and every one of you. Welcome in the ring. Welcome in the ring. Welcome in the ring. All right. Are we there? Yes, we just where we need to be. Just where we need to be, folks. Good to see each and every one of you. And we are coming to come. I see some of our guests are already lined up. Listen to me, Trenchies and everybody. Y'all be on your best behavior tonight. Good. It's only took and came. That's what we want tonight. Be on your best behavior. Okay? That's what we're asking for. Be on your best behavior. I'm ready to go at my end with our hot topics and before our guests come on. And I don't know about you. Let me make sure that everything is good at our end. Nothing is out of place. We want to make sure that our guests are comfortable and we're looking good. All right. So I am almost where I need to be to get our hot topics. All right. So I'm seeing some of our guests already lining up. So guys, let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right. Let's get to our hot topics and then we're going to be good for anything else. Right off the table, we got some international news in the sense that most of you would know that we're celebrating Earth Day today. Earth Day. That's what we're celebrating. So we want to say happy Earth Day to each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. Well, you all see that Georgetown, among some other places, are drifting back into this cycle of decadence and decay and garbage all over the place, right? Because we understand the folks that we're dealing with, the installed people, they don't understand what aesthetics and beauty of environment and those kinds of things, right? They got installed titles like champion of the earth and so on, installed titles too. So happy Earth Day, folks. You have to do what you have to do in being responsible. We have one earth, and let's take care of it. Moving on, the leader of the opposition today had a meeting at Linden. He met with the nurses, and he also met with those lovely young people who are part of the that lovely marching band. And I'm trying to access my notes to ensure I get the name of the band correctly. But there was a meeting between the Linden Music Corps, um, that lovely marching band. And so the leader of the opposition met with them. Several issues were discussed, and they are seeing how they can advance the development, not only of our nurses nationally, but the nurses also in Linden, and the young people who benefit so tremendously from this marching band. I'm informed that they learn a lot of skill set from being part of this band. They learn how to goal set, they learn teamwork, they learn time management, which is good for young people. They learn prioritization, they learn leadership, and they learn public speaking, among other life skills. And that is good for our young people. And so we're happy that that marching band there in Linden is advancing, and also the cause of the nurses who have been protesting that load CEO, Mr. Rudy Small, that they are getting some movement where that is concerned, and we applaud our nurses for taking a stand. These frontline workers. So again, the leader of the opposition met with both the nurses there in Linden, and today as well, we were informed that he also met with some of the representatives out of ExxonMobil. As you know, we've been having some trouble with one of those oil rigs there, and he has been assured by ExxonMobil that the repairs to that, whatever component of that pump or vessel that needs repairing, is not going to cost the Guyanese taxpayers anything. And so that is a kind of a reassurance for us. But we're still watching. The other folks, the installed people, they come in saying that they're going to revise contract and renegotiate and all of that, because these were the people good at deal making, like Donald Trump. We're still waiting. We're still waiting, folks. So that is what was on the part of what was on the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Joseph Harmon's schedule for today. And we turn our attention now to law and order. We saw quite an interesting press statement coming out of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce. And they were stating that they are very, very peeved about the escalating rate of crime. This is the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce. Some of its members who favored the installed folks, the installed regime, they are now complaining about escalating crime. I couldn't remember seeing them complaining under the last administration. I couldn't remember seeing that. Nonetheless, they're complaining. But it was some of their friends who now in charge of the security sector. For instance, we have Trevor Benn, who is the Minister of Home Affairs. He's in charge, right? But they're complaining about escalating crime. We got Jerry Govaya from their sister chamber, the Public Sector Commission, the PSC, who is now advisor on security. So they should be writing Jerry directly and say, Jerry, what happened in all these skills and expertise that you say you possessed, right? Jerry resigned as chairman of the PSC to take up this job as security advisor. What has happened? Now the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce complaining about escalating crime. You can't please people, right? You want the installed people in there, but yet you're complaining. Don't complain. Take your licks. And also we have Harry Gill, who is at the Ministry of Home Affairs as an advisor on security as well. right? An advisor, Harry Gill. But yet, there's complaints coming about escalating crime. Escalating crime. Folks, we're watching the complaints and we're watching these installed folks. And while they're doing that, the police force is trying to get its act together. We saw quite recently deputy police superintendent and 2 constables charged with falsifying account and deleting data. This is the police force. You understand why the GCCI complaining now? Because there's an implosion in the Ghana police force under this administration, right? The installed fraudulent administration. If that wasn't enough, chaos in the police force, chaos where the security sector is concerned. Now we have Anil Nandalal, right? I don't know when he started working with GPL, but he's saying that the government is unable to pronounce on the end to blackouts. Yep. Government unable to pronounce on the end to blackouts. These folks said they had a plan, right? He said even though they're tweaking lots of stuff at GPL, he don't know which wire the rats bite or the cat jump over. He knows what happened, but he said he cannot pronounce on an end to blackout. But these same jagabats prosecuting people before the courts, and the things that they're supposed to be focused on, they're not focused on. These jagabats. Yep. Right? So if the security sector was in problems, inclusive of the police force, right? You got now this fella here talking about blackouts, that there's no end in sight to blackouts. On the other side, the sugar industry. Well, here is how they're making the sugar industry great again. Because Sister Ryan says that they have no money to pay workers anything extra. Right? These are the folks who spent over $100 million on tractors. So over $1 billion on tractors recently. Each tractor is something to the tune of $75 million. It's a good time to own a tractor dealership. Right? Over $1 billion is spent on tractors alone. Now they're saying to the workers, we ain't got no money to pay you because we have spent 102% of our earned revenues paying wages and salary. Right? But you didn't like the last folks. So this is what you have to deal with now. Sister Ryan and the other jagabat. So that was the sugar industry. Everything are in confusion, you know. Everything in confusion. The only thing floating is the credit union that I'll introduce to y'all in a couple of minutes. And then we have COVID-19. As though I didn't give you all enough bad news for the night. As though I didn't give you all enough bad news for the night. We got COVID-19. Folks, we're over 12,000 now. So you got the bandits to deal with, the security concerns on the Jerry Govaya and Harry Gill and Robeson Ben. Right? You have that to deal with, plus the elements in the Ghana police force. You got sugar to deal with. You got blackouts to deal with. Now you got COVID, over 12,000 confirmed cases of COVID. Right? Sabak News reports just today, 41 persons died this month alone from COVID-19. 41 persons in 1 month. When this fraudulent administration took over, the installed folks, on August 2nd, there were 21 deaths. After 6 months of the coalition managing COVID-19, 21 deaths and 474 confirmed cases. Under these folks, we've surpassed 12,000 confirmed cases. And these are the guys who have a plan. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very pleased and honored to have with me this evening some very, 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 very special folks. And they're representing the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union. Let me start bringing them out one by one. I have the president of that credit union, Mr. Trevor Benn, who I think don't even need an introduction. Once you say Ben, you know who we're talking about. And then you have, I think, a team of folks who are going to be joining him as well. I wish they had separate windows, but we'll work with what we have and wait for what we want. Right, so let me introduce Mr. Ben, who is going to introduce his team. Of course, you know, Mr. Trevor Benn was recently elected as chairman of the Guyana Public Service Credit Union, the GPSCCU. And he was previously operated in the role as the able body CEO of Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission. Mr. Ben, a very good evening and welcome. All right, hold for me. Let me ensure that all of our mics are working. Go right ahead, Mr. Ben.
Good evening, Sharon, and thank you very much for hosting us this evening.
Great ahead, sir.
Yes, and good evening to your listeners. I'm joined this evening by two of the young, able staff members of the commission. To my extreme left is Mr. Paul Clark, who's our PRO and part of our credit team at the credit union here. And we have Mr. Christopher Thompson, who is our internal legal person, as well as the management secretary for the organization.
Great. Good to have all of you guys on board with us. We are going to get through the program. Never mind, we might have to switch persons a little bit in that third screen. We are going to have everybody on board. If these guys have separate devices, the link can be shared with each and every one of you, and you can come on separately. That can work too. Right? So again, folks, thanks for joining us. Share our live stream. We have Mr. Trevor Benn and team, Trevor Benn is the elected chairman of the Guyana Public Service Credit Union, who has recently won that post through ardently contested elections. Mr. Benn, you had a very, very formidable opponent in the opponent that you had, Mr. Patrick Yard. What do you think might have resonated with the members of the credit union, Mr. Yard being a very stalwart in trade unionism locally? Sorry.
Yes, Sherrod, we are very grateful for all of the work done by Mr. Patrick Yard and his team over the years. I think they've been in the credit union for many, many years. And we are happy for the work that they put into bringing the union to where it is today. But I believe the members felt it was time for change. We came in 2018, and what we met at the time, I don't think the members were quite happy with what they were getting. And so we set about doing a number of things, one of which is to make sure that the members are our priority. They became our priority. We ensure that when members visit the credit union, they can get the services they demand in a timely manner. And I believe that helped the members to make a conscious decision about who they should be supporting in this regard. So if you come to the credit union, previously, you would have waited between 2 and 3 weeks to get a loan when we came here. Today, you can get that loan in 1 day. You know, so there are a number of things which we will talk about this evening that we put in place that led, I believe, the members to feel that it was the best group of people to remain in office and to continue the good work that we have started. We want to make sure that the credit union remains the premier credit union in the country. And we want to ensure that the credit union continues to service the members and not the members servicing the credit union. We want to make sure that we have annual general meetings as the rules of the credit union stipulate. And we want to make sure that the money of the credit union is properly accounted for and that all members benefit through dividends and through products that we're offering. This year, for example, we are starting for the first time car loans. I know this is a big issue for our members. Many of them have come to us and said that, look, we have been going to the commercial banks and they're turning us down. We believe that our members, most of them, more than 70%, are the lower end of the society in terms of income, but we have a product that can suit them. A car is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. And we want to help our members.
Excellent.
We want to help our members.
And because since, this new team has taken over, I've been hearing so much on the radio about the credit union. I know, for instance, that you guys have said that part of that loan system will resemble what a bank might ask for, or what the loan system at a bank entails. But yet, it has some special features, given the nature of the credit union and all of that. And I know that, again, because you all have been out there really and truly pushing these new services of the credit union to your credit.
Yeah. So, like I said, our focus is in making sure that our members are at the center of all of our plans and that they benefit from any decision that is taken by the credit union. And this is why our focus is in bringing out new products that can best serve our members. They've been saying to us for a long time that we want to be able to get cheaper loans for our cars. They've been saying to us we want to have cheaper loans for our housing, residential houses. And so we have designed products now that will suit them. And very shortly, we hope to be able to start to introduce those products to them. We are committed by the middle of May to issuing our first car loan. We are also committed by the first week in August to issue, if all goes well, our first residential mortgage. So those are two things that we're working on.
Fantastic. I've given you guys a little more room to add some of your colleagues. Mr. Ben, before we go into the depth of the discussion, you have a lot on your plate. What personally made you want to take on this role of chairman of the credit union? You have a lot on your plate.
Yeah, good question. Well, I am motivated by helping people. I am motivated by making sure that the lives of people improve wherever I work. I must leave the institution better than I arrived. And I believe that the credit union is in need of that sort of support. And I want to be able to do that, as I did for other organizations, most recently the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission. That's another thing we can talk about some other time. But in terms of the credit union, we are aware that there is so much demands that are unmet at the moment for our members, which I believe I have the skill sets to help to bring on board. We want to, for example, have credit union facilities in all regions so that our members don't have to leave the regions to come. At the moment, we have a sub-office set up in Region 2. The first time in the history of the organization, we've set up a sub-office. And so we are taking it from region to region. So all of our members can access the service of the credit union where they live. In Georgetown, we are looking to upgrade our facilities so that our members can be better serviced when they come into the facility. We want to introduce ATM cards, for example, so that members can, outside of working hours, access their monies in the credit union.
Fantastic.
Guyana is the only country in the Caribbean where credit unions don't have these facilities. We are lagging, and we want to bring it up to the 21st century.
It sounds as though you guys are bringing the credit union into the 21st century. That's how it sounds to me. And I want you guys to tell us a bit, because I'm looking at some of the literature where you talk about vehicle loans up to $5 million at 1% interest, mortgage up to $15 million from 3.5%. We talked about even implementing, we get some feedback from somebody, so ensure you. Let me mute some of the mics. Yeah, just ensure that whatever device you are viewing us on is what we linked into here. All right, so I've muted a couple of the mics because we're getting some feedback. Yeah. I see also you talk about using MMG debit and credit cards, again bringing this union into the 21st century. You also talk recently, I heard again on radio, about paying dividends. This sounds like something strange. You probably had a run on the credit union there where dividends were paid.
So, Sharad, for the last 10 years, we did not do our duty to our members in terms of paying them annual dividends. And it was our commitment to ensure that we do good on that. And that became possible after our annual general meeting, the first held in over 8 years.
Wow.
Um, our rules say to us that we should have annual general meetings, and we are committed to making that happen going forward. But for reasons known to most of our members, we couldn't do that. So dividend is being paid at the moment. We have a run on the institution every day. There are crowds of people out here coming to uplift their dividends. We are paying out for the next for this 10-year period 285 million Guyanese dollars to our members. And many of
Exciting,
our
yeah.
members are really, really happy. It's, last year before the dividends this year was paid out, we also had a new product which we, for our members, due to the COVID, we give them a special loan for those people who were laid off, those people who had issues with their kids getting IT facilities at their home so that the kids can be schooled from home, etc. We give them a special product, a new product, and it was a big hit. We had thousands of people who showed up here looking for that product, and yeah. But I want to ask my colleagues here with me, Mr. Thompson and Mr. Clark, to speak a little bit more about these new products that we are bringing on board, especially related to the car loan, and also about the dividend, what is expected of people, because people feel like the dividend is available now and after now they wouldn't get it. I want them to talk more about what it means to hear that there is dividend and how people can access it, what they need to do. Great. So I'm going to hand you over to starting with Mr. Thompson and then Mr. Clark.
Go right ahead, guys.
Good evening, Mr. Duncan.
Right ahead. I'm going to.
My apologies, sir. Thank you so much for having us on your program. Relative to what the chairman said, we are indeed currently engaged in the process of paying dividends to our members. Those dividends, like you said again, amount to a total of $285 million. I wanted to soak into the spirit of everyone that we paying $285 million back to our members. All right. Those dividends are for a period of roughly a decade, 10 years, from 2011 to 2020. So it's dividends being paid, final dividends being paid for a period of almost 10 years, right? So I would suspect each year has a particular percentage. So what members are currently receiving is a lump sum payment for all of those years. I won't go through back the history as to why those weren't paid before, but all is well that ends well, and members are currently receiving their monies. Now, I want to say to our members, especially those who haven't come forward as yet to uplift their dividends, that those dividends are currently on their savings account with the credit union. Those monies are currently in the individual member's account. It's there. It can be left there if the member so wishes, and it could be withdrawn if the member so wishes. The member can apply it to any other purpose. They could apply it to their loan. They could put it back into their savings. Alternatively, they could withdraw it. And there are more than one ways of withdrawing it. If the member is in possession of a bank account, they simply have to provide us with a top part of their bank statement, which indicates their name and account number, and we can transfer those monies directly into the savings account at any
That's good.
commercial
That's
bank.
good.
So that will necessitate, that will of course means that member don't have to come all the way down to credit union and join the long line we have out here. Alternatively, the member could come in person in an orderly manner and uplift their monies directly from the office here. We open from Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Members are always welcome to come in and uplift their monies. But let me repeat again that there is an alternative. You can provide us with your bank statement, the top part of it, and we could deposit those money directly into your account. And
That's
that's a safety
efficient.
mechanism
Yeah.
and a convenience mechanism also. I will
Great.
let my colleague, Mr. Clark, speak about the other products we have also, and he could always revert to me, and of course, the chairman through the course of the evening. Thank you so much, sir.
Take it away, Paul.
Good evening.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yes, good night, Sharon. Good night to our viewers, and thank you for having us again. Just to add a little to what my colleague, Mr. Thompson, would have said, and our chairman, Mr. Trevor Benn, relative to what we have to offer, Sharon, it's important that we note, however, when credit union started, I believe it's somewhere about 67 years ago. 57, yeah. 57 years ago, credit union started with just about 29 persons. And to date, we boast a membership of in excess of 20,000 active members, right? So it's important to note that the credit union would have grown. And quite recently, of course, within the last 2 years, we had just over 4,000 members joining the credit union within that period. This would be the period of the interim committee when they would have taken over. We had members actually becoming on board. And with the products that we have to offer, again, like Mr. Ben would have said, homes and cars, they're no longer luxury. It's a necessity, at least for family. And the credit union would have taken that mantle to have our members owning their own home and their vehicles. We don't say car loans because for some regions, the mode of transport might be by sea. So those persons can have the outboard engines and the boat and so on. If I can go into the mortgage, now we're offering loans up to 15 million from 3.5%. Now, what is important, Sherrod, over my almost 2 decades at the credit union and having done business with the other financial institution, what is required of you is for you to have an upfront collateral or down payment. This is in addition to the fact that you have your title or your transport at hand. Now, with the credit union, what is happening is that all the costs that are associated with the mortgage would be absorbed within the mortgage of itself. Take, for instance, you have to find a 10%. Now, here it is with the credit union. We would have had the experience of our members coming to the credit union. Like, we're the start up for the other financial institution. You come here for the down payment and you go to the banks, the commercial banks, to have the mortgage. So what we're doing, we're taking away that kind of setup where you can come directly to the credit union and have access to your mortgage. Now, like I was saying, so you have your transport or your title, you come into the organization. Of course, you need to have your estimates and valuation and so on done. What we're saying to you is that you don't have to come with anything other than the documentation. You don't have to go and seek any other finance or anything to come into the credit union. You're coming with those documents, all things being equal. Now, we're offering up to 15 million, but of course, it's based on your earnings. So if you're earning within a certain bracket, then we can safely say to you that, hi, Mr. Clark, okay, based on your earnings, you can have a loan of perhaps $7 million. Of course, we look to see what is in your best interest, because we know some persons perhaps might be looking at the white picket fences and so on, but we're looking at our members having access to living, our members being able to alleviate the stress and so on that they have with the rents and so on, right? So that's what we're looking at, as well as our car loan. Now, we have up to $5 million. Now, this is what is quite important again, is just as our mortgages, the car loan, again, some financial institution that you and I are familiar with, there's a certain promotion that says you have to find something done at a certain time. No, with the credit union, we're saying that what you need to have is you have your the quote from whichever dealer that is, and we're facilitating overseas as well. So some persons who prefer to bring in from SBT or any other persons who would normally facilitate same, you have that quote, you have your relative documentation, of course, your recent pay slips, your job letter to show proof of employment. Nothing different from the other financial institutions. What is different though is the fact that we're offering that loan at 1% at the reducing balance, which is unmatched.
Great.
Which is unmatched. We would have heard in the media quite recently, after we would have announced what were the plans of the organization, what were the projections of the organization. We had a few financial institutions who would have made a few bold steps as it relates to being a part of what credit union has to offer as it relates to competition. But again, Sharon, there is no need for any upfront money, because we understand our members are public servants and we know what are the struggles, for the want of a better word, of our members, and we are there to bridge that gap. Credit union thrive on the notion of people helping people. We're not for profit, but we're for service, right? Excellent. So that's what we're working on. And for too long, we had our members out there and they weren't able to benefit from what the credit union has to offer. So the management of the organization, this is by extension the committee, they sat down and they decided that, you know what, we want to change the script. We want to have the organization in such a position that our members would be able to benefit.
Yeah.
Right. We just only talk the talk. We walk the walk.
I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. Yeah. And folks who are now joining us, we're talking with Trevor Benn and team from the Guyana Public Service Credit Union, the GPSCCU, Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union. And this is our Talk Back Thursday program. So guys, if you have a question, it's a little difficult for us to follow all of the comments that are being made. As per normal, instead of texting yes for the link, text your question to 627-6963, and I'll be sure to post it to the team. 627-6963, and I'll post it to the team. Folks, I have somebody who's asking, can Guyanese living in the US join the credit union?
I have Mr. Thompson address.
You're exciting these folks, paying all these dividends and millions and so on.
Indeed. Is an indication of a great need out there for our services, and we have seen an increased interest in membership of the credit union. But I just want to enlighten everyone that the GPSCCU, like any other credit union, operates within a defined space. Now, for us, we operate within the public service. So our members come from government agencies or semi-autonomous government agencies. All right, so we are only permitted to accept into membership public servants or active members of government services and semi-autonomous agencies, NIS, GEA, and so forth. So it may be if that overseas Guyanese is employed in the embassy, the Guyanese consulate could indeed join the credit union. But if she's not in the employ of government, then she may not be able to join us, unfortunately. I do apologize for that.
I have another question. All of it isn't very clear, but I'll pose it. They're asking, if someone had recently handed in a bank account paper, would credit unions still have that paper, or would they need to get a new one? I know that makes sense to you.
Yes, Sharon. So some of our members would have submitted their ID card and, of course, their banking information. And we have those in custody, and we will work on having those money paid over to the bank. However, if the person opt to come into the credit union to actually retrieve that money, they would be able to do so as well, right? So there is an option. Again, amidst the COVID guidelines and the task force mandate, we cannot have over a certain amount of person within the premises, and of course, being housed outside under the tents as well. So we advocate for our members to have good sense to prevail as it relates to their health. So as our chairman would have said, the monies are here. They're not going to be exhausted. contrary to perhaps
Nice
what is
time.
being peddled out there. The monies are there in your credit union account. You can leave it there. You can collect it next week. You can collect it next year. You can choose to have it transferred to offset the principal of your loan. You can choose to pay your interest. You can put it on your special savings. So the monies are there. So there is no need for you to actually come if there is no need at the point for the monies, right? It's
Nice
already
time.
there. So
Nice time. Paul, when I hear with all these millions and team, Mr. Ben, when I hear with all these millions, I want to know, like, why haven't I been a member of the credit union all this time? How does one become a member of this credit union? What is the criteria?
sure, like Mr. Thompson would have said in response to the question that was posed to the person who is overseas and want to become a member of the credit union. Now, our credit union has a closed bond and it's for public servants, right? So once you're in the employ of any, like Mr. Thompson said, any government agency or any autonomous agencies, you can be a part of the credit union, simply meaning that there is a form to be completed. And why so, Sherrod, is because we have a checkoff system, or for some persons might know it as a payroll deduction. So you sign up for the credit union, and there is a slip or a document that you would normally sign. Let's say you want to have $10,000 deducted from your salary per month. Now, this is taken to the organization, and they would in turn have that money retrieved and sent to the credit union by means of a checkoff, right? So as a result of that, we only have persons who can facilitate same within the government agencies.
Great. I'm getting a lot of these overseas questions. I want to be clear that someone from overseas could not be a member of the credit union unless they were working with a consulate or one of the embassies.
Yes, please. Yes, that is correct indeed.
Great. So all of the folks in the diaspora, region 11, sorry, we know that you all want to send some of those
Yeah.
remittances and so on, but unfortunately, no.
So, but
Unless
if I may note, there is indeed a caveat. If they were indeed members before migrating, the rule still permits them to remain as members, even though they would have migrated. So if they were indeed members of the credit union before they may have migrated, and they're still within the framework of membership of the credit union. So for those persons who were members and would have migrated, those membership still stands.
Excellent. So I hope they're hearing you loud and clear. I got another request for you to repeat the requirements to join the credit union.
Mr. Clark will do so, but just let me inform all members that those forms, membership forms, are available both online at our website, mygpsu.com. It's available online and also on our Facebook page and at the office. But Mr. Clark will repeat indeed the requirements for membership.
Great.
Yes, Sherrod, we have a pretty self-explanatory system here. There's just a form with basic information. It asks for your name, your address, your identification number, be it your passport or your national ID card, the number there, and all the other information there is we would have at hand. There is no need for an examination, so to speak. When that form is completed, it's placed into the organization for approval. That form is vetted to ensure that, of course, the information there is authentic, and we would make contact through an email, and a correspondence would normally be mailed as well to our members confirming membership. Now, there is no two persons with the same number. There is a unique number that each member would receive. Just like, for instance, you go to the ATM and you have to punch in your PIN. Similarly, that number is unique to you. So whenever you come to the organization, you code that number, you'll be able to access information based on your account, and you'll be able to transact business if so the need arises.
Great. There's another question here. Can employees who are not on government payroll join the credit union?
That will go back to the question again, Sherrod, that we would have addressed. That would be no, because you would be outside of the government framework. But like our chair would have said, and Mr. Thompson, if you are
this is your fault, because y'all are offering such good rates. People want to leave and come.
Yeah. Right. So what happens there? Sharon, if you, let's say, for instance, you were working with the Georgetown Public Hospital,
Mhm.
and for some strange reason, perhaps for betterment, you would have gotten employment outside of Georgetown Public Hospital, where you were employed with an organization now who is not making payroll payments and so on. We would not put you out as a member. You can continue being a member. You can pay what we term as over the counter. You become a direct payment member. So what would be key in that aspect there is that consistency would determine the way forward. Because remember, within the organization, perhaps within a certain time, let's say by the 15th of every month, those deductions are made to the organization. Now, the onus is on you to ensure that those funds are paid over within that period, because that would determine the way forward with your loans or perhaps any other services being offered by the credit union.
Awesome. Awesome.
Cheryl,
Go ahead.
it's important for our listeners to understand that we are a members-based organization. Our funding and the products we offer depend on our members keeping their end of the bargain in making their statutory contributions, their monthly contributions. That's how we get the funds to be able to give to others, to lend. So if we have to have a system in place to ensure that deductions are made on a monthly basis from all of the members. So we have to know where you're working, and we have to have a relationship with that organization.
Okay.
To ensure that before you receive your salary, that they can send us our portions.
Great.
From a layman's point of view. So we can't just pick you up off the road and make you a member, because it could be problematic for us in terms of collecting what is due to us, and that can interfere with our ability to offer the products that we're offering.
Great, great. Mr. Ben, as you're on, I have a question here. Since we're now post-election for the union, yet people are licking their wounds. You know, I saw one publication quite recently would have said that Mr. Patrick Yard would have threatened legal action against you and members of the credit union. What is happening? Do you think, one, that this particular election, this credit union election, got a little dirty and nasty?
Well, competition is good, sir. I believe that in every aspect of life, competition is good, and in this case, it was quite healthy. I suspect that the other team that ran found themselves in a situation where they were seeing the writing on the wall, that they were not going to make it. And so they engage in tactics that would try to boost their possibilities. And so I understood that. So that's behind us. Indeed, there was a court action filed, which was thrown out from the court to stop the elections from happening for various reasons, but the court did not buy it, and so we were able to have our elections, thank God. But I'd like to move ahead. Our members are important.
Excellent.
We cannot sit back and concentrate on the things that are between members, individuals, while affecting the products that our members are looking for. So we want to focus on what we can do to make sure that the organization grow from strength to strength, to be able to every year give our members something new that they have not had before. So if we spend too much time dwelling on what some individuals said or did, we are not going to be able to focus on the real issues that our members want us to focus on. So I thank the other team for their participation. I think it was good that they offered themselves up. It is good that they were very vigilant to make sure that their points of view were heard by the members, and it was. But the members have spoken. Excellent. It is true that it is the first time in the history of the credit union that we have so many people voting.
A clean sweep.
It is true for the first time in the history of the credit union that our members were able to vote in the regions from which they're living or working. So we put all the arrangements in place. I think it was one of the freest, fairest, most transparent elections in the history of the organization. And we want to make sure that going forward, that is replicated so that every member has an opportunity to participate in the process and to become a member of the management committee.
Excellent. Tell us about some of the other members of your team. I know you have quite a few persons who were elected along with you. Tell us about some of these other folks and what they might bring to the table specifically.
So we have a very diverse group of people in age, in experience, and so on. They come from every aspect of life, and I believe they are the best team. Some of them served before on the management committee, others are new to the management committee, but all together, I think we have a very good team, diverse team, that will serve the interests of the committee. They're committed. We held our executive elections for executive officers last Saturday. Mm-hmm. And yours truly was elected again to chair the committee. And we have Mr. Patrick Mentor as the vice chair. We have Ms. Jillian Pollard as the secretary. We have Ms. Rajdai Jagannath as the treasurer.
Excellent.
And we have a number of committees. We have the admin committee, which is headed by Mr. Arthur Gibbs. We have the finance committee, which is headed by the treasurer, Ms. Jagannath. We have the rules committee, which is headed by Ms. Leslyn Noble. And finally, the credit committee, which is headed by Ms. Saskia Eastman. And these are people from all walks of life, lawyers, accountants, et cetera, et cetera. Various people with various backgrounds.
I see you have Mr. Charles Vogel, Leslie Noble.
I think the icing on the cake is the management team, the staff. We have perhaps one of the youngest team in any of Guyana where credit union is concerned, and perhaps throughout Guyana in terms of management of an institution of this kind. One of the youngest team, very highly qualified, all of them, and they are very, very proactive and committed. So if you visit this office for the first time, the experience that you get when you come is a reflection of the hard work of the staff here. So I want to say a big thank you for them over the last 3 years. They've been very committed to us. And in terms of the changes, we were really radical in the changes that we made when we came here first. And they managed to keep up with us. And they helped us to make the transition a lot smoother. And so kudos to them. We have done a lot of training. We are continuing in that stead. In terms of training the staff, and we want to make sure that they are available to our members every step of the way to give them guidance. I want to apologize. A lot of members reach out to me. I can't get through on the phone, but you will understand a small organization, 23,000 members, a small staff, that is, we may not be able to take all the calls that are coming through. What we are doing, we are working on digitizing all of our products so that you don't have to come in the future. You can do it online. You can send an email, tell us about your intention, and some of these things that we can do for you online. If you want a small amount of money, you shouldn't have to come in to us. You can get an ATM card if all goes well. But also, chief among the achievements, I believe, was the reduction in the issuing of checks. At one point, we signed hundreds of checks per day to give to our members who asked for loans and so on. And they now had to take that check to a commercial bank and stand up in a line for hours sometimes. Today, if you come to do any transaction, you can get your money in your bank account the same day. So there's no need for a line. And this is what we were encouraging people who are coming for the dividends. If you need the cash, we can transfer it to your bank account. Don't come to the office, ask for cash, and stand up in a line. In this new COVID reality, we're encouraging people, just leave your banking details. We will transfer the money for you. And we also don't want you to go out there with cash in your hand. And
that is the point I was going to add, because in the previous segment we were talking about the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, is alarmed by the escalating crime. So it's important to not to be walking around with lots of money.
Yeah. So we are committed, Sherrod. We are really committed to making sure that our members' experience are improved on a regular basis, and we encourage them to let us know whenever we are falling short in that regard. We want to focus as much as possible on making their experience better than any of the commercial banks when they visit them. But it's work in progress.
I would hazard to say you're well on your way. We've talked about the expectations that the credit union has in terms of holding annual general meetings. We've talked about how you guys have been paying out the dividends, how you're offering a vehicle loan now with an interest of 1%. We've talked about mortgages up to $15 million from 3.5%. We've talked about the increase in regional sub-offices, outreaches, and membership drives. We've talked about the implementation of additional payment methods, the MMG, the debit and the credit cards. Is there anything else that's on the horizon for the membership?
Well, this is a lot for one. This is a lot for 1 year, Sherrod. We want to make sure we get this right, and we assure our members that we will come with new products in 2022. But we want to make sure, as much as possible, the promises we made this time around, that we can implement those. It's not going to be easy. We ask for their patience and understanding. It's the first time we're doing many of these things, and of course, there will be teething problems. So thank you for your understanding, and please let us know when you think that we are not moving as fast as we should.
Fantastic. Guys, it was my privilege to have you on this evening on a Talk Back Thursday. I'm sure we're going to get a couple other questions that we might have to answer offline. Is there anything else that you want to add before we go?
So no, just finally, thank you to the members for their support, to the team that ran for office. We are eternally grateful for your support, and we are committed to making sure that we keep our promises to you. Thank you for staying as members of the organization throughout the difficult period, because I know many of you had an option to leave, but you did not. We appreciate your continued interest and support to the organization, and we hope that we can do as much as possible to reward you in the near future. Thank you very much, and thank you, Sherrod, for having us this evening. We are very pleased to have had this opportunity, and we hope that we have been able to share as much information as possible to help our members to have a better understanding of what's happening at the credit union.
Great. The privilege and pleasure was all ours. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan.
All right, and so, folks, there we have it. The Guyana, let me call the name correctly, the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union, the GPSCCU, and the chairman of the management team and other members giving you lots of information. We don't only want to talk about politics here, even though that's important to us, but we want to give you information that empowers you to make good decisions in your life. And you've heard from the members of the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union telling you how you can improve the financial aspect of your lives. And so, guys, we encourage you. We're going to post this segment separately tomorrow, and we ask you to share it, tag somebody who needs the information. And so that, again, we have relevant information that empowers you to make good, sound decisions. As we leave, we say, mask up, sanitize, social distance, folks. We've given you the numbers for COVID already. We passed 12,000 confirmed cases locally, and the deaths are going up. It's serious out there. Thanks for joining us, and do stay safe. Thanks for joining us, guys. Stay safe.